Hi, I'm Margie, and this is Silver Brushes Watercolor. I'm really happy to have you come and see what I'm doing. I'm a watercolor artist as of the last 12 years. I'm a late bloomer, but I do something that's different than most watercolor artists do. All the ones I've looked at have like a lane that they're in or a niche that they're in. They either do pet portraits or landscapes or cute note cards or people portraits. And I don't do that. I am a little bit different. I do everything. I get bored easily. And so I've been trying all different techniques, all different subjects. And my niche is I don't have a niche. So I'm hoping that you'll come along with me on this journey and try watercolor painting. If you are an experienced watercolor artist, you might find some new tips and tricks and some ideas you hadn't thought of. If you're brand new to it, then I'm hoping you're going to have a good time learning how to create. And I thought I'd start by showing you some of the things that I do so you can see the diversity in my kinds of paintings. So here is a painting I really love. I did this just, a few weeks ago. It took me about 6 minutes to do it. I was in a really loose, relaxed mood. I just slapped some paint on there, on the wet paint, on wet paper, and there's birds flying out of the tree, and there's splatters everywhere, and it just feels really lively to me. It makes me happy. I find myself just looking at this painting for no good reason, but I really like it. But compare that style, that loose, watery style, to this. Okay, now here is a true, more classic pet portrait, and I painted this as well. I did this for a client. It was a commission, a friend of mine that lives in Washington State, and she is blind, has been for decades, and she wanted to have her guide dog painted. I've known her for many years. I felt comfortable saying to her, you can't see what I paint, so I could put a stick figure on there. It'd be a very expensive stick figure. She said, oh no, she says, I want to have something of yours hanging in my house, and I want to have Jaden's painting in my house. And I have some friends who have agreed to look at the process of the commission and approve it along the way. So we did. What they were most concerned about was Jaden's eyes. They kept saying, Jaden has these wonderful, sweet, gentle eyes. And I'm proud to say when I got done, they all agreed that, oh, she captured his eyes perfectly. Now compare that classic pet portrait to this one. Totally different style. Very free and wild and kind of frisky. So very different style. Now I'll tell you, I bloomed late as a painter because I'm kind of old. I started out doing these lovely little bookmarks. I took them to a church function, and I was going to give them away to people at the function. Here's some birds on a wire. They're all a little bit different. There's a cute one. Here's a more traditional style. And this is really a traditional style, this one. So I took them. I have like 40 different kinds that I do, and I took them to the event. I was going to give them away, and people started asking if I would make them and buy it, and could they buy them. And I said, don't buy them. I'll just make them and give them to you. And people began saying, no, you need to take money for this, and I'm going to pay you for them. So I began selling bookmarks. One woman bought 19 of them to put them in her grandchildren's Christmas stockings. So then I began doing cards, and the way I got into cards is that I found these Stratford watercolor cards, Strathmore watercolor cards, and I thought, well, maybe I'll paint a card. We had a friend at church that was struggling, and I decided to paint a simple card for her of an old cottage and sent it to her. It turns out it reminded her of her aunt's cottage that she went to as a child, and it really uplifted her spirits. So that began my journey of painting cards and sending them to people. Now take a look at the different styles. We've got a very traditional lavender in a pot. Now compare that to this crazy guy. Very, very different, lots of ink on this one. And then take a look at this one. This one was done with the metallic paint for the water. I have a whole series of lighthouses that I've done. This is my most popular seller. I actually have sold cards for years here in Tucson in one of our big bookstores. I haven't done it for about a year now because I've just been too darn busy. But this is my most popular card, and then what I've sold the most of, it's a prickly pear flowering. And then I did this one because it reminded me of my grandmother's fuchsias on my mom's side of the family. She had fuchsias hanging in her yard, and I loved them. So I painted fuchsias. Then I began painting birthday cards for people in my family. And if you could see this one, if you could take away all the ink, this is ink and wash. If you took away all the ink that's on that thing, all you would see is a little bit of paint on the paper. There's very little painting going on here. It's mostly just a wash with ink on top. And then I have grandchildren who are into anime. I didn't even know anime was a thing. But I made an anime card for one of my grandsons, and then, of course, the other grandson got jealous. But anime was a fun thing to do. Then about, I don't know, 5, 6 years ago sometime, I made a series of Southwestern Christmas cards. They're all kind of comical and fun. There's a set of 4 in the set. And then the year after that, I made some traditional cards on Christmas hymns. This is on Silent Night. This one has the music for the 3 Kings of Orient, and there are the 3 kings. So there's a whole set of Christmas cards based on Christmas hymns. So as you can see, each card looks different, right? Like somebody different would painted it. But no, it's all me. I'm just kind of strange. I have a good sense of humor. I like things that are funny. So I painted this, one of my very favorite things. I learned to paint this from another painter whose name is Rebecca Rhodes. She is a wonderful animal artist. If you just want to do animals and nothing else, go see Rebecca Rhodes. She was a long-time choir teacher. And when I discovered that, I thought, no wonder I speak her language, because that's what I've done all my life, is choir work. So this is a cute parrot, different style. And then, this is my newer thing, plexiglass. Painting on plexiglass, which is a really interesting thing to do. And this very little painting is going on here. This was mostly, I put this ground on the plexiglass, and I just put the paint here and there, and it just spreads and does all this really cool stuff. So now I'm painting on plexiglass. I actually have real glass I'm painting on now. I want to see if I can make a watercolor painting look like stained glass. You could hang it in a window, you could put it on a glass door, but that's one of my newest things I'm trying. Then I had a friend of mine, actually a relative of mine, asked for a painting. She wanted a painting of a heron, a blue heron, and she wanted it 2 feet by 3 feet. And I'm thinking to myself, 2 feet by 3 feet, holy moly. She had a little picture, we had a digital picture, of a digitally produced picture. And I said, you know, it'll look totally different in watercolor than it does in this little tiny picture we've got. But I said, well, here's what I'll do. I'll paint it on a small painting. And once you see it in watercolor, if you like it, then I'll paint the 2 foot by 3 foot. And here's what I ended up doing. This is on Hahnemühle paper. It's a black paper that feels just like cloth. And these are a set done with a set of wonderful Japanese paints that I found. And they're all gouache. They're very opaque. She liked what I did, so I painted the 2 foot by 3 foot, and it's hanging in her house. But this took a whole different set of skills than the other things did. And I'll show you one more, a whole other thing. This I did for a friend who was very ill. He liked to play his guitar and sing songs, and he made up this song about families. They sing it every year at their big family reunion. And he said, I want to commission you to paint something about my song. Well, the months went rolling by, and it was a lot of work, and I didn't have anything to go by except him singing on an MP3 player. So I went ahead and transcribed the music, and then ended up writing the music by hand because I couldn't find the manuscript paper I wanted. And actually by hand made sense because it's a homemade song. Then I went in his house, snuck in his house, got his guitar. His wife knew I was taking it. Took his guitar to my house, took some pictures of his guitar, and so then returned the guitar and painted his guitar on his song. And when I gave this to him, which by the way, I did not charge anything for this, he loved it. And he has since passed away, but it is still sitting in a place of honor in his home. So as you can see, I like to do all kinds of stuff. If it's interesting and it's watercolor, then I want to try it. So I'm hoping you'll come on this journey with me. And I had an idea that's a little bit different than most people, which is typical of me. I want you, first of all, to hit the subscription button. You have to hit that button or I can't progress at all on YouTube. So I'm waiting for you to hit that subscription button. It won't cost a thing. I know in my day, if you had a subscription to something, it was money was going out your pocket, right? And you might get a magazine coming to your door every month. But this is not what this is. Hit subscription. It just means that I'm racking up people who are watching me so that YouTube knows that I'm a viable YouTube video person. So if you hit that, that would be great. Second of all, if you would go down and look at my email address, silverbrusheswatercolor@gmail.com. If I don't already have your email address, would you please give it to me? I promise you, I will not give it to a soul. I'm not going to be selling your email to anybody. The reason I want it is that I have a hard time finding things online. I don't like it when I have a video I've seen briefly and want to go back and see it and then I can't find it. Maybe I've got the guy's last name wrong that did the video, or I've got one word wrong in the title of the video, or whatever. But I have trouble on YouTube and Patreon and other platforms finding what I want to find. So here's my idea. You give me your email address and you will have an email sent to you whenever a new video comes out. I make a new video, I email it straight to your email box. There's a link on the email, you click on the link, and there I am showing you how to paint. As easy as I could make it possible. Then what you'll do, if you can't paint right then or you just want to save it for later, is take the emails I'm sending you and make a folder. See, if you have Gmail, it would be a label. Make a folder to keep all these pictures, these videos in, and you've got a nice little library of watercolor videos. Now that means you can do it whenever you feel like doing it, whenever you have time, or invite a friend over and sit and paint together. Turn on your laptop or whatever and paint together and build some community. Or maybe if you have somebody who's really smart and can cast that link onto your television screen, you could have a whole bunch of people come over and have a sip and paint party. So I just want them there for you so you can get to them easily. It's not a pain in the neck because I don't like having to do that. So that's the idea behind all of this. I'm going to make a set of tips, tricks, and techniques videos. I have 3 I've started on already, and I want you to go down in that comment section and tell me what you're thinking about all of this. And more specifically, tell me which video would you like to see first. One on paints, different kinds of paints, pan paints versus tube paint. How do you use the paint? How does it flow? What colors do I need? Everything about paints. That's one video that's coming out. A second one is going to come out about brushes. Which kind of brushes should I buy? Where should I buy them? Why is one kind of brush better than another? What about the funky brushes? How do you use them? So all about brushes. And the third one is going to be all about paper. Which kind of paper should I buy? You know, now I don't care what you buy for now. Buy something cheap, but make sure it says 140 pounds on it. If it doesn't have that on there, it doesn't have any poundage on it, just open it up and make sure that it's thick. Yeah, if you get super, super thin paper, it's not going to work well. So, a video on paints, a video on brushes, and a video on papers. Tell me which one you want first. Which one's the most important thing to you? And put it down in the comments. I'll wait a few days, I'll check it all out, I'll take a look at how everybody voted, and put out the video you're most requesting. You'll get all of them, but I'll put them out in the order in which they've been requested. And if you want me to paint something specific, why don't you tell me that? Like, I really want a bird or whatever. I'll look into it and we'll do it. We'll paint it together. So lastly, my next video is going to be a lighthouse. This is what we're going to paint on my next video. It looks a little tricky, but actually it's not. It's really quite simple to paint. So this is what we're going to paint on the next video. And between now and the time that you get that in your email box, that the video is here on the lighthouse, please go someplace and buy a couple of things. Cheap. You don't know if you really want to stick with this, right? So don't go spend a fortune. Instead, buy some either paints in tubes or paints in pans. This is pan paints, tube paints. I got them both at the 99-cent store. However, this was $3. Which doesn't make any sense to me at all. They had to change their name from the 99-cent store to the $3 store. So buy a set of paints. This was $1.50, I think. So inexpensive. And buy a set of brushes. This is an old set I got from, I think, Walmart years ago. The only problem with these brushes is the largest brush in the set is really too small, in my estimation. Try to find a set, maybe on Walmart or somewhere, that has a brush that's at least an inch by an inch, the brush part of it. So you can cover some ground. That would be awesome. And then all you need after that would be some paper. Get some paper. Some paper towels. Here's 3 paper towels, like folded into thirds. And last but not least, you need these very expensive water containers for water, because one container of water is going to get dirty and one's going to stay clean. And I have here my very exclusive and very expensive water containers that came out of my Tupperware drawer. So anything works, cups, anything works. Just have a couple containers for your water, and that's it. And we'll paint that lighthouse next up. Please tell me what you're thinking. Vote if you want to have paper, paint, or brushes for those next technique videos. And please hit subscribe. It's the only way I can stay alive in YouTube is if you hit subscribe. So if you'll do that, I will see you next time with this lovely lighthouse. Thanks so much for listening. If you like this idea, or if it's not for you, pass it on to someone in your life who needs some joy and some creating in their life, and give it to them and let them come and paint with me. All right? Thanks so much. See you next time. Oh, and by the way, be kind to yourself, because you really are doing the best you can with who you are at this moment. Thanks so much. Bye.